So you think you know Nevada? You think it's just the neon glow of the Vegas Strip, the endless casinos, or maybe the high desert energy of Reno, but that's not the whole story, not even close. I'm taking you to the other side of Nevada, the side that's far from the glitz, far from the easy tourist traps. We're going to places that feel like they've been almost forgotten by time. These tiny desert towns that somehow, against all odds, manage to survive. They're clinging to life out here in the vast empty spaces, and each one has a story to tell. This isn't just going to be another top 10 list, another quick rundown of places you could find on a map. This is a journey. We're diving deep into the soul of the Silver State, into the heart of what makes this place so damn interesting. We're talking about secrets, about histories that feel more like legends, and a kind of mystery that just pulls you in and makes you want to know more. It's about the grit, the struggle, and the incredible resilience of the people who call these remote corners home. So get ready. Buckle up. We're hitting the road, and I promise you, what we find out there is going to be weirder, more fascinating, and more real than anything you'll see under the bright lights of the big cities. Stick with me on this one, because I have a feeling that the strangest, most unforgettable town in Nevada is going to be one you've never ever heard of. Let's do this. Our first stop is a place so remote, so cut off from everything that just getting here is the adventure. This is Jarbidge. Tucked away in a steep canyon in the northeast corner of the state, this town is basically a time capsule. For most of the year, it's buried. I'm talking chest-deep snow that doesn't melt until June, sometimes even July. You can't just decide to drive to Jarbidge. You have to plan, you have to be prepared, because the wilderness out here is no joke. It was founded on gold. A classic boomtown story, but unlike the others, it never fully died. It just got quieter. There's a saying around here, a piece of local wisdom you hear from the few tough souls who call this place home. If you can find your way to Jarbidge, you're either crazy or wise. And standing here, surrounded by these towering canyon walls, with the silence so total it almost rings in your ears, I think I get it. You'd have to be a little crazy to want this kind of isolation, to choose this life. But there's a wisdom to it too. A wisdom in finding a place so untouched, so fiercely independent, that it feels like the last real frontier. This isn't just a town, it's a fortress against the modern world. Now we're heading west, to a place that lives a bizarre double life. This is Gerlach. For 51 weeks of the year, it's one of the quietest, most desolate places you can imagine. A handful of buildings, a gas station, a bar, and the endless shimmering expanse of the Black Rock Desert, the playa. The silence out here is profound. It's a place where you can really feel the scale of the world and just how small you are in it. The wind is the only soundtrack, and the dust is a constant companion. It's a town that seems to be perpetually waiting for something to happen, and then for 1 week it happens. The entire world descends, Burning Man. The population explodes from a few dozen to over 70,000 people. The quiet desert floor becomes a sprawling, chaotic, incandescent city of art, music, and fire. It's the most extreme transformation I have ever seen. There's a quote that perfectly captures it. For 51 weeks, Gerlach is a ghost town. For 1 week, it's the center of the universe. And then just as quickly as it appeared, it's gone. The city vanishes, the people leave, and Gerlach goes back to sleep, waiting for the circus to return. Alright, let's talk about ambition. Let's talk about what happens when a town dreams big and then wakes up to a nightmare. Welcome to Goldfield. At the turn of the 20th century, this was the place to be. It was the largest city in Nevada, a bustling metropolis built on a mountain of gold. They built these incredible grand buildings, a courthouse, a high school, a hotel, that looked completely out of place in the middle of this empty desert. It was a city that believed its own hype, that thought the gold would last forever. But it didn't. The boom went bust, hard and fast. The people left, but the buildings remained, and so did the stories. They say this place is haunted, and honestly, walking these streets, it's not hard to believe. The Goldfield Hotel is legendary, considered one of the most haunted places in America. People talk about ghosts of miners, shadowy figures in the windows, and a chilling presence that lingers in the empty hallways. It's more than a ghost town. It's a monument to a dream that died, a massive, beautiful skeleton of a city that refuses to be forgotten. The scale of the failure here is what makes it so compelling. Some towns, they boom and bust over decades. But Rhyolite, it did it in about 5 years, that's it. It's honestly one of the most explosive, short-lived stories in the entire American West. From 1905 to about 1910, this place was just on fire. People flocked here chasing gold, and in a flash they built a city. And I mean a real city with concrete buildings, a stock exchange, an opera house, and multiple newspapers. They were so confident, so sure of their future that they built it all to last. The irony is just staggering. The financial panic of 1907 hit, the mines dried up, and by 1920, the population was near zero. Today, Rhyolite is this incredible open-air museum of failure. It's kind of a playground for explorers and photographers. The ruins are spectacular, especially the three-story bank building, its hollowed-out shell standing defiant against the desert sky. But there's some weirdness here too. You've got the famous bottle house made from thousands of beer and liquor bottles because, well, wood was scarce. And then there's the Goldwell Open Air Museum right next door with its ghostly, life-sized sculpture of the Last Supper. It's this perfect blend of history and art, a place where the past is so present you can practically touch it. Okay, things are about to get weird. Our next stop is Tonopah, a town that, honestly, perfectly balances its gritty history with some truly strange modern attractions. On one hand, it's a classic Silver State story. A silver rush put this place on the map, and it still feels like a tough working-class mining town. But then you see it, the world-famous Clown Motel. Yes, a motel filled with clowns, hundreds of them, dolls, paintings, statues. It's a full-on coulrophobia-inducing experience. And the best part? It's located right next to the town's historic mining cemetery. So you have this motel staring out at a graveyard full of miners who died in the early 1900s. It's a combination that is so bizarre, so uniquely Nevada, you just have to see it to believe it. But Tonopah has another, more beautiful secret. Once the sun goes down, you look up. Because of its remote location and high altitude, the skies here are some of the darkest in the country. It's a world-class stargazing destination. The sheer number of stars you can see is honestly mind-blowing. So you have clowns, ghosts, and galaxies. Tonopah is a town of incredible contrasts, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Every Wild West town had its share of violence, but Pioche was on another level. This place wasn't just wild, it was lethal. Historians claim that Pioche was the most violent town in the Old West, that 72 people were buried in its Boot Hill graveyard before anyone died of natural causes. Think about that, 72 killings. The silver here was so rich, and the claims were so disputed that hired guns and gunmen flocked to town to settle disputes with lead instead of lawyers. The gunfights weren't just duels at high noon, they were chaotic brawls in the streets and saloons. You can still feel that energy here today. The town is built into the side of a steep hill, its old buildings just clinging to the rock. You can walk up to that infamous Boot Hill and see the graves of men killed over mining claims, card games, or just a sideways glance. And then there's the $1 Million Courthouse. It was supposed to cost $26,000 but ended up costing nearly $1 million due to corruption and shady financing. It's a perfect symbol of the town's lawless spirit. Pioche isn't pretending to be a Wild West town for tourists, it's the real bloody deal. In the high desert of northern Nevada, you'll find a culture that feels a world away from the American West. This is Winnemucca, and it's the heart of Nevada's Basque community. The Basque people came here from the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France, masters of sheep herding, and they brought their unique culture, language, and, most importantly, their food with them. Walking through Winnemucca, you see the influence everywhere, in the names of the hotels and restaurants, and in the faces of the people who have kept their heritage alive for generations. This isn't just a historical footnote, it's a living, breathing culture. You can go to a Basque restaurant here and eat these incredible, family-style meals. Think lamb stew, chorizo, paella, and endless glasses of red wine. It's an experience. And if you time it right, you can be here for the annual Basque Festival, a celebration of their heritage with traditional dancing, music, and honestly insane strength competitions. We're talking weight carrying, wood chopping, and even sheep head fighting competitions. It's a vibrant, loud, and delicious corner of Nevada that most people just drive right past on the interstate. They call Highway 50, the loneliest road in America, and smack in the middle of it, you'll find Austin. This town is the definition of survival. It was a silver mining boomtown that, like so many others, should have died when the silver ran out. But it didn't. It held on, a stubborn outpost in the middle of nowhere. Driving into Austin feels like driving into a movie set. The main street is lined with these incredible old brick buildings from the 1860s, a testament to the wealth that once flowed through here. It's a town literally built into the side of a mountain. But Austin isn't just a relic. It's a place with character. You've got Stokes Castle, a bizarre 3-story stone tower built by a wealthy mine magnate as a summer home, which now stands as a lonely monument overlooking the valley. There are natural hot springs nearby where you can soak under the huge desert sky. And honestly, my favorite part, a local mechanic shop that has this incredible collection of sculptures made entirely from old car parts and scrap metal. It's folk art at its finest. Austin is a town that proves that even on the loneliest road, you can find life, history, and a whole lot of soul. Continuing our journey on the loneliest road, we pull into Eureka. While Austin has this rugged survivor feel, Eureka has a different vibe. They call it the friendliest town on the loneliest road, and it's true. There's a certain warmth here. Like Austin, it was a major mining center, lead and silver, and at one point it was Nevada's second largest city. The amazing thing about Eureka is how much of that history has been preserved. The town is a time capsule, but a beautifully maintained one. They've done an incredible job here. The old courthouse, the opera house, the newspaper building, they're all still standing and many are still in use. You can pick up a map and take a self-guided walking tour, reading the plaques on dozens of historic buildings, and it feels like you're walking through the 1880s. The pace of life here is slow, deliberate. People stop to talk to you on the street. It's a town that's comfortable in its own skin, proud of its past but not trapped by it. It's a place to slow down, to breathe, and to appreciate the history that's written on every street corner. Way out in eastern Nevada we find a town built not on gold or silver, but on copper. This is Ely. And the story of Ely is inseparable from the story of the railroad. This was a company town built around the massive Kennecott copper mine and the Nevada Northern Railway that was constructed to haul the ore. The mine is mostly quiet now, but the railroad is very much alive. They call it the ghost train of Old Ely, and it's one of the best preserved, most complete historic railroads in the country. Riding this train is like, stepping back in time. It's a real working steam train that chugs its way through the mountains, black smoke billowing into the blue sky. The engineers and conductors are all volunteers, passionate about keeping this piece of history alive. But Ely isn't just about the train, the town itself is a canvas. As you walk around you see these huge, beautiful murals painted on the sides of buildings, depicting scenes from the town's history, miners at work, Basque sheep herders, the grand locomotives. It's a town that wears its legacy on its sleeve, a tough, proud place forged by copper and steel. Down in the southeastern corner of the state, nestled in a beautiful canyon, is a town that feels different from the others. This is Caliente. The name means hot in Spanish, named for the hot springs that bubble up nearby. But while other Nevada towns feel defined by the harshness of the desert, Caliente feels like an oasis. It's known as the City of Roses, and in the spring and summer the town is filled with beautiful rose gardens that stand in stark contrast to the surrounding Red Rock canyons. It's a splash of color and life in an otherwise arid landscape. Like Ely, Caliente owes its existence to the railroad, in this case the Union Pacific. The centerpiece of the town is this beautiful mission-style railroad depot which now serves as the city hall and a museum. It's a reminder of a time when the railroad was the lifeblood of the American West. But the real draw of Caliente is its location. It's the gateway to some of Nevada's most beautiful state parks, like Cathedral Gorge and Kershaw-Ryan. It's a town that's less about its own boom and bust story, and more about its connection to the stunning natural beauty that surrounds it. We're back on the loneliest road heading to a town so small you might blink and miss it. This is Baker, population about 60 people. On the surface it's just a tiny cluster of buildings at the base of a massive mountain range. There's not much here in the way of services, a motel, a gas station, a couple of small cafes. But Baker is a town with a huge secret. It is the gateway to one of America's least visited, most spectacular national parks, Great Basin National Park. This is Baker's entire reason for being. This park is incredible. It's home to the Lehman Caves, a stunning underground world of stalactites and stalagmites. High up on the slopes of Wheeler Peak, you can walk among the oldest living things on Earth, the ancient bristlecone pines, some of which are nearly 5,000 years old. And at night, Baker offers something truly priceless. The park is an international dark sky park, meaning the stargazing here is among the best in the world. The Milky Way is so bright it feels like you can reach out and touch it. Baker is proof that a town doesn't need to be big to be important. it just needs to be the doorway to something magnificent. In the middle of the vast, flat expanse of north-central Nevada, lies a town with a reputation it didn't ask for, but can't seem to shake. This is Battle Mountain. In 2001, a Washington Post writer famously called it the armpit of America. But the locals have a sense of humor about it, and more importantly, they have a secret weapon. Just outside of town is a stretch of Highway 305 that is one of the straightest, flattest, and smoothest pieces of pavement on the planet. And for 1 week every year, that makes Battle Mountain the global capital of speed. This is the home of the World Human-Powered Speed Challenge. Teams from all over the world bring these futuristic, aerodynamic bicycle contraptions. They look like something out of a sci-fi movie, and try to break the human land speed record. We're talking about a person in a pod, pedaling a bike faster than a car on the freeway, hitting speeds over 89 miles per hour. It's a bizarre and incredible event that brings a surge of international energy to this otherwise quiet mining town. Battle Mountain proves that even in a place some might dismiss, you can find a unique and world-class reason to be there. Our journey takes us to Carlin, a town that might seem like just another stop on Interstate 80, but it sits at the heart of a modern-day gold rush. This is the home of the Carlin Trend, one of the richest gold deposits ever discovered in North America. The scale of the mining operations around here is mind-boggling. Massive open-pit mines that are literally moving mountains to get at microscopic flecks of gold. It's a tough industrial town that fuels a huge part of the global gold supply. But Carlin has a ghost story, a mystery that haunts it to this day. In 1939, the luxury Streamliner train, the city of San Francisco, was deliberately derailed in a canyon just outside of town. It was an act of sabotage. 24 people were killed and over 100 were injured. To this day, the crime has never been solved. No one knows who did it or why. It's one of the great unsolved mysteries of the American railroad. Standing here, you can feel the weight of that event, a dark secret held by the landscape, right alongside the glittering promise of gold. For our final stop, we're going as far north as you can go, to a town that literally sits in two places at once. This is McDermott. The state line between Nevada and Oregon runs directly through the middle of town. You can stand with one foot in Nevada and the other in Oregon. There's a casino on the Nevada side, of course, and a different set of laws just by walking across the street. This geographical quirk gives the town a unique identity, a feeling of being a true border town, a place between worlds. But the division here is more than just a state line. McDermott is a cultural crossroads. It's home to the Fort McDermott Paiute and Shoshone tribe, and their reservation surrounds the town, preserving a deep and ancient heritage. It also has a strong Basque and ranching history, a legacy of the cowboys and sheep herders who settled this remote valley. You see these cultures living side by side, creating a community that is completely unique. It's a place that reminds you that borders, whether they are state lines or cultural divides, are often just imaginary lines on a map. The real story is how people find ways to live together in these remote, beautiful, and forgotten corners of the country. So there you have it. 15 towns, 15 stories. We've been from the snow-buried canyons of Jarbidge to the sun-scorched border of McDermott. We've seen ghosts of the gold rush, clowns next to cemeteries, and futuristic bikes breaking speed records. This is the Nevada that most people never see, hidden deep in the desert silence. These places, they're more than just dots on a map. They're living museums carrying these huge stories of history, of incredible resilience and a kind of raw, untouched beauty that gets under your skin. What I learned out here on these long, empty roads is that the narrative is always in the details. It's in the weathered face of a local, the peeling paint on a historic building, the silence of a ghost town at dusk. Sometimes it really is the most isolated, the most forgotten towns that leave the deepest and most lasting impression. They remind you that there's still so much to discover, so many stories that haven't been told right here in our own backyard. It's about the journey, not just the destination. Now I want to hear from you. Of all the strange and fascinating towns we just explored, which one pulled you in the most? Which one made you the most curious to see for yourself? Or maybe you've driven through one of these places on a road trip without even realizing the stories it held. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read all of them, and hey, if you like this journey, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another adventure into America's forgotten corners. Thanks for watching.